How are you doing, Katerina? How are you doing, everybody? It's good to know that you're doing okay, David. Thanks, Katerina. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my webinar. Broadcasting live from Mexico City. Today is Monday, March 13th, the lucky 13th, 2017. Local time 1 a.m., 12 minutes past the hour, almost 13. All right? Yeah. And GMT time, sorry, it's 7 a.m., 30 minutes past the hour. If I'm not wrong, next week we're going to have the summer time in Mexico switching or something. I believe that in Europe also, if it hasn't happened already. So, yeah, winter is over astronomically on next Monday, Monday 20th at, if I'm not wrong, is 10 a.m. GMT time. Astronomically is the exact time when spring starts. So yeah, that means no snow, no cold, a lot of rain, and a lot of heat. Oh my God, it's still -4 in Riga. Oh my God. Well, it's better than the other time. I believe you told me that you were under 15 something, -15. So now it's like living not in the it's in the like living the normal fridge, nor in the freezer. So yeah, it's warmer if you want to, if you will to accept that fact. So yeah, guys and girls, this webinar is going to be therapeutic. Okay, so it's like going to the shrink, but now you are going to be the one that will help me, a psychologist, and I'm gonna be the patient. Well, not at all, but the thing is that, yeah, today I need to talk about 21 in Los Angeles. Yes, I thought so here, but to be at night, that is a lot of heat. Karina hates us all, except Rock. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to say it. Oh my God, Roca, she will still hate you just because you are in the positive +2. So she will hate you also. So, well, everybody, today, and you don't like Mexico then, I assume that. Okay, that is good to know. If by some chance someday you come here, I will remember that. So, yeah, last week was a terrible day. I'm not going to talk about the contest account because it's a disaster. But the thing is that, yeah, I will have to build that back again this time. But that was not what really shocked me psychologically. Last week was one bad, not the worst, of course, but at least bad week in live accounts. Yes, it has been a very, very bad week for me. What I mean with bad week is that I lost money. Nothing exaggerated, nothing beyond my money management, etc. But the thing is that it hits badly. So the trades that were, if you're wondering why I lost, you can go to the trader contest account and see the exact trades that put me negative last week. So when that happens, usually the weekend for me, it's very hard to make this overhaul of my psyche, of my mind, to come back on Monday like restored. And yeah, it takes time to make this cocoa wash, this brainwash done. And yeah, I feel happy today. So I believe that I made it, that I really am back. Actually, I opened some trades in the demo contest on my live accounts in Canadian dollar, all of them profitable. So it's like scalping. I don't like it at all. But I really needed to find some smaller winnings and smaller losses in any case to feel back the confidence. So yeah, now I feel like everything is flowing. But this is important psychologically because at some moment, if you are starting your trading career, the most likely thing is that you are used to losing money. That's the raw fact. But there comes a time that you get used to not losing nor winning. You are in break even, what I call the break even stage. That is like that step just before profitability. But once you go beyond and you go to the profitability, and this sounds like cocky if you want, but it's the truth. When you're used to, in your live accounts, every 2 weeks, let's put it that way, that's more or less my measure. Every 2 weeks, you know that you will end up in profit. So you get used to that. And yeah, you don't panic if you lose one day or even 1 week, but because you know that the other week you will come back the losses, so no big deal. But in this case, it was something different. I really don't know if this week I will make my losses to come back my losses. I really don't know. So that is like hitting my ego, my mind, my tranquility. And this is part of being a trader. Once we need to develop the necessary skills to even having, in my case, for example, that I am pretty sure that the losses I have that last week, it will take me like 3 weeks to make them back. We need to be aware that at some point we will face this stage and not panic and don't allow ourselves to feel depressed and overall start trading under that sensation of depression or of revenge trading. It takes a lot. Once, I believe it was like 6 months ago. Unfortunately, at that time is when we have problems with the recording software, and there were like some webinars that weren't recorded. But I remember talking about the psychology of this stuff. And yeah, it is very, very difficult to make it because, again, when you are used to something and then you suddenly, it's like if you have an accident. You feel like that. It's like if you crash your car or somebody crashed your car from behind, etc. And there is like a sentiment of, a very human sentiment of vulnerability. It's like when I remember some days ago, boiling a cup of water dropped on my arm. Actually, I see here a very, very small scars. But at that time, I felt like sad, like wanting, I don't know, a very strange sensation. It's the same one. It's the same thing. It's like if I have an accident. So yeah, just like as a reminder, when this happens to you and if you haven't developed the necessary skills to, in this case, using one weekend to overhaul your mind and come back on Monday with your mind back, if you haven't developed those skills, never trade until you feel comfortable again. If you don't feel comfortable again and you start feeling fear, don't trade. It's much better just to stay in that loss, big or not that big, But if you start trading with that sensation of just being lost, it's like being robbed, you know? I feel like that. It's like if somebody robbed you. It's like, it's literally that. It's like that frustration. So when you feel that, don't trade, even if that takes you months. Of course, that is a difficult part when you're starting and you are pushed to trade because you make a living of it. It is difficult, but it's much better not to trade and not to win than continue trading with this sensation and then start losing more and more, because then it's going to be devastating. So that is why I this week and I really took it seriously for overhauling my mind. What you do, well, that's up to you. You can listen to music, you can go hiking, go camping, go, I don't know, etc. Have a social life or lay back and watch TV, whatever. But whatever that really helps you recover and actually make an honest and conscious effort of the things and do the things you know that put you back, that reset you. That is important. And yeah, sorry, if I told you how I felt on Friday, I really couldn't believe if somebody told me that on Monday I was going to be happy, because at that moment I felt so devastated. So yeah, this is part of the psychology aspect of trading that is never really treated in books, because either you're a trader or a psychologist, and if you're a psychologist, a successful one, maybe you don't have time for trading. So that is why that it's a lack of this kind of a studies. But well, just this was well, I just want to use it as a reminder for all of you that the objective of having a good money management is that you will be able, or supposedly you should be able, to trade another day, another week, another month. When you design your money management, you need to consider this and to factoring it in the way you trade. No matter what happens, ever, if it was a very bad week, you should be able to continue trading at least 3 or 4 more weeks with that same amount of losses, at least. Because if not, if you lost half of your account in 1 week, you know that the other week, either you lose it all or you lose it a half. But if you lose a half, means that you cut down the potential profits by half. So that week you won't come back your losses. It will take you 2 weeks. And if you are under pressure of having your losses back, that's going to be painful. So just a reminder, guys and girls. It's hard. It's hard when well, it's I cannot get into the details because there's a lot of context that you don't know of my life. But yeah, it was hard. So I am back. I am happy. And this is the way you need. That is why the weekends are important, even when I don't like them. But they have a goal when you're a trader, and overall when you had a bad week, the weekends are sacred things. If you have a bad week, that weekend needs to be like a religious thing. You need to dedicate both days to restore your mind, because in 2 days you need to in some way block the emotions of losing, be on Monday like if nothing happened, or even making your brainwash that actually you had a good week so you can continue doing the things correctly. Of course, after analyzing the mistakes that you made in the week, in the losing week, of course. So yeah, well, let's just move on to the next topic. Here it says, Racer X, pain is a powerful reminder. Yes, it reminds you that you are still alive. But at times pain pain gets so hard that actually you would like not to be alive anymore, right? So yeah, it's like a contradiction, a contradicting thing, because you need to be able to feel pain in a way that keeps you focused, but not allowing pain to be really painful, that all your attention focuses on pain, on the pain. So it's a delicate equilibrium, and you need to have your inner check and balances to counter-rest any kind of overwhelming pain, to psychologically find your counterweights to make it work in your favor. That is why if you have a major loss, a relative passing away, etc., that is the best thing is just to quit trading, because those kind of pains are the ones that even if you have counterweights, if you really, really have strong feelings with somebody, it takes time. I mean, there are no way, unless you're really something very special. But well, just a reminder, losses are part of this game. And the most important thing, as the motto says, if you take care of your losses, winnings will take care of yourself, of themselves. It's the same thing. The pain caused by the losses, if you are able to cope with them and to take care of those emotions of losing, if you're able to do that, the emotions while you are winning will take care of themselves. It's relative. I have talked about in other webinars that I've considered that even there is something more devastating than the fear and the sensation of having losing streaks and losing money. When you're starting, the worst emotion is not that. The worst emotion is when you start winning, because it's then when you start committing stupid mistakes. So in trading, either you are in the losing or winning side, you always need to have your check and balances inside to keep a emotional equilibrium. Here it says, I hear you, I have to be optimistic about something. Well, David, whatever that is, it's the only, we have the choice of wondering or imagine if next day is going to be cloudy or sunny. But life is what you're really willing to believe that is going to be tomorrow. That's it. Because there are no certainties in life. One day could be bad and the other could be worse, but that's out of our control. The only thing that is under our control is what we have inside our minds, regardless of the circumstance. So yeah, being optimistic is a tool. It's like having faith. I mean, I'm not comparing this, but it's like religion. I am agnostic toward religion. I consider religions only like a theoretical framework at the most. But I recognize that it's a strong need, and when it's used in that way, it's good for people that need it. That actually is a way to keep faith. No matter what, no matter how bad war is. I mean, if you turn on TV, you realize that the world is more like what is called hell than heaven. And for some people, the only way to survive in this world is to believe otherwise. And that is valid. It's a tool of survival. It's perfectly acceptable. So yeah, optimism, it's that. It's a tool, use it. And until you find a way to fix the problem that you have, or if it has no solution, well, until you learn how to live with it. Here it says, I will step away for some 10-15 minutes. Okay, Karina, no worries. I was going to start talking trash on Trump and that and the ECB leaders, etc. But okay, maybe some other time. So well, now it's time to move on because we have 30 minutes. Well, first of all, I wanted to check this out. Oh, well, give me a second. Yeah. The thing is that I will show you the trades that I open in the demo, in the trader account and in my lab accounts, just to show you that when you're focused, actually, you can overcome the losses that when you have a bad week. But well, first, this is what I was commenting, what I posted in the traders blog on Friday before November number, saying that this was a price range box that I was expecting to be respected, or at least that if price managed to break either side up or down convincingly, it could start a move, in this case to the upside, a stronger continuation to the upside or downside. I'm not going to read this because it's out of context already. But the thing is that I want you to look at this. How I drew this, of course, before all this happened, but I want you to check this out, how symmetric this looked. I mean, after a lot of hours, actually, yes, this was just in the middle of a top. It's like a pyramid, right? So I'm not saying that, I just have the impression that this box should be drawn like this. I really cannot explain you why, because I didn't know it. It just made sense to me. And hours after, I realized why. So we had, by the way, what we had, it's a better than expected number. I believe 20% above expectations, not a payroll number. But the problem is the hourly wages that again were lower than expected, and last month happened the same thing and had the same effect. Well, I'm going to explain you why I believe that. So I was commenting in the webinar that, and we had some comments by other traders here, that how bad or how not outstanding should be enough on payroll number to be considered disappointing or something like that. It was very relative because, of course, the market was so hot that the only thing overall in dollar yen that the market started doing since it hit 112 was buying and buying up to the 115.40, 45, even 50. Okay. So yeah, what I believe the non-farm payroll number reading the market participants made of it is that, yeah, I mean, it's completely ruled out that we will have this week rate hike. Of course, that is a certain thing. It is expected that we will have more or less 3 more rate hikes during the year, something that it's like pretty much ruled out. I mean, it's a fact. But what it was not really clear was if every hike was going to be quarter of a point or half of a point, maybe one of it, or maybe three quarters of a point. At least one of them. But what I believe is that even though we had a very good non-farm payroll number, this wages number weighted negatively. Why? Because if you don't see people being paid more every hour, at the end that means normal people having less money. Well, not less money, but not as expected more money to spend. So the less the people spend, inflation stays in control, or at least more in control than if you have people gaining more, they will spend more. So I believe that the markets are now factoring in that this trend will continue, the thing with the wages, and there will be no need, maybe for the rest of the year, to hike rates more than quarter of a point every time. So that is why I said that maybe Friday could become a take profit day, like the Friday before, and this is exactly what happened. This level, the 115.20, if you see here after non-farm payroll, it was hit. It was hit second time, but in the third it was convincingly broken. It just pulled back, of course, not to the pip here, but it was very close, and then it continued to trend down. So these two levels, of course, I'm not sharing these levels as entry points or as exit points, but as reading points, as benchmarks, as landmarks, whatever you want to call them, are reference prices that you need to make your analysis. Of course, this is a 30-minute chart, but a lot of things happen here in the 1 minute. In the 1 minute, the price action, we're telling you at some moment that this price won't be able to sustain the movement. So it gave path to a selling wave. So this is the idea of using these price boxes. Okay, so if you follow these posts that I try to post them every day, and I will continue posting them even if my trader contest account is a disaster again, and I don't know how. I would like to believe that that at least I could close it at break even by the end of the month. I detected some very ridiculous mistakes that I made in Mexican peso trades, by the way. That after the fact, after the mistake, it was so clear that I could have closed all the trades beforehand, but I really don't know why I didn't see it. I was overworking. I am focusing on a lot of competitions, but apparently that is taking away a lot of energy out of me. So I needed to make some changes in the way I manage those accounts. But well, again, coming back to the price boxes thing, these are the levels. When I share these things, it's because I try to give you some compasses. It's like, okay, whatever it happens, these levels should mean something for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week or whatever. Okay, so if you focus on those prices plus all your analysis on all the things you need to do as traders, these are like, okay, don't feel lost. Use this as a tool to find direction. Okay, it sounds how to say it. It sounds easy because somebody could say, "Ah, but these two levels are obvious." Well, yes and no. But another thing, for example, is the time expansion. I didn't put this box up to here, right? Why? Because at here I was expecting maybe a quick movement down and then up, or up and down, to be retested. But then we had, just at the moment, we stayed in a range. And after that is when we have this price retested. So this, if you use your imagination creatively, you can see or feel more or less, well, if the market is not really willing to test either both sides, it's because maybe they're just lost interest and continue buying until they find some other good reason to do it. Okay? And it should have happened between these frontiers of time, maybe if you don't want to be exact. But yeah, it really extended. I was expecting a reaction of price before non-farm payroll, but it didn't happen. Okay. After that, on Asian session, I was before I believe it was the Japanese session or something. I just put this, and it says here, major USD take profit patterns on Friday after non-farm payroll might hint that even when the hike is already discounted this week, they will continue in a gradual manner of quarter of a point each time and no more. The thing that I just explained. A broadening falling wedge in the 4-hour on the dollar Mexican peso could track a bearish path. In any case, we have the convincing price action boxes broken to the downside. Trade safe. Okay, this is the 4-hour chart. Here is the broadening falling wedge. These are the clue prices. This was when the price was here. I put that. Then now it looks like this. Of course, you can trace and draw any kind of combinations here. You can say, okay, it moves up, down, up, and down, whatever. That's not the case. The idea is that you go to lower time frames and check what happens in these price boxes. Creatively, of course, because yes, you can. I mean, if you see this, it's obvious. Yeah, but for example, this one is not obvious. This one, the only thing that made it obvious is 2 points here and here. And only if you're watching 4-hour, sorry, I just have a trade open. Let me check. Give me a second, please. I need to open a trade. Do you want to know what trade I am talking about? Don't go with it. Okay, here it is. Sorry, I am back. Okay, let me check that I in fact opened the correct trade. Because if not, wait a second. Okay. A second, please. Okay. Yeah, I guess it was right. Okay, so the idea is that this is the 4-hour chart. I try to always look for high quality chartist patterns. And plus this, for example, you can realize this. This price zone extends up to here, up to this conjunction. So one potential scenario, that is why I put this box here at this distance. Okay, so all the things, these boxes are not drawn just by either the thickness, either the length, either the position. It means something, but of course, at times they just look right. Okay, and maybe at times this is the only reason I opened. I drew them. Okay, it made sense. For example, this. That means that in time, maybe the extension of a potential next movement could be waiting up to here. And maybe just up to here is when we could, in any case that this goes down and the price action indicates, it will wait for this trend line to be tested in order to go lower. But in any case that the price doesn't wait for this price to be touched, maybe the breakout should happen before and maybe fall here and maybe at this moment make a pullback here, more or less. This kind of things, this is like this Tetris game. You need to start playing with the different shapes of pieces of price action and make them fall in a place in a way that they make sense. You will never have a certainty what will happen. But the thing is that if you, and I've been saying this during other webinars, you need to engage the market with at least a strategy in your mind. Okay, if the price does this and this and this, I will do this and that and those. Because you need not to be reactive, you need to be proactive. You need to have something before the action happens. Proactive. Not reactive, not reacting after, because if you do that, you're lost. And by the way, one of the mistakes I made on Friday was that exactly, in a live account. You are not free of this kind of mistakes, even if you have some time knowing what you're doing. This happens. At times it happens. The thing is that they happen the least possible times. Okay? So, well, this is what I put on at the beginning of Asian session. And well, the price was, I honestly believe the market maybe won't wait here to make a pullback here and then continue. What I believe that maybe this should break and maybe by here make a pullback. And you can see here, for example, this. In any case of that scenario, I would expect maybe it to make this move and here start moving up to make a pullback here. In any case, but well, I could be wrong. But the idea is that you more or less know what this kind of boxes mean, at least for me, and why I draw them that way. It's not the same, a shape, the length, the position, the thickness, everything is like a language. Okay. So, and please wait a second. Okay. This is okay. I believe that this is the same one. Yeah. I want you to check how this evolves. Example. On after non-farm payroll, after this movement happened, after here is where I put that previous blue box, and then it sold out. This is a 4-hour. Even now, I'm not drawing that very small one because the other was a 30-minute chart and this is a 4-hour. This box is using more or less the same zone. It's a little bit lower, and it's in comparison, it is a little bit thinner than this. Why? Because the trend is still to the upside. Okay. What I believe is that, for example, here, let's read up, read out loud. Non-farm payroll was 20% above expectations, but the average hourly earnings month over month was again below expectations. Although it should be good enough to continue with rate hikes from next week and on, it gave some room to doubt since last time precisely this earnings indicator caused some sort of dovishness from Fed members. So, and accordingly to what was reviewed during my webinar on Friday, of course, at any side of doubts, Friday might become a profit-taking day, and it did. I am still fundamentally and long-term bullishly biased on dollar-yen, and the price boxes I consider to be relevant for next week are shown in the chart. Trade safe and have a good weekend. This was after non-farm payroll number, just before closing the day. Okay, so you can see here, I have, this was on Friday. I have 3 boxes. Okay, but this is the one I'm going to post just finishing the webinar. Okay. Give me a second again. Okay. So, where was I? Well, this is how this evolved. For example, here, just below the 114.50, that is this price. The one that I'm just going to post now, I just removed this. I kept this box but I put it lower, and then I put one even lower, the 113.50. Okay, and then I put a price box at 115.50. As you can see the timings, we have this timing line, we have these two timing lines. And what I believe that will happen in dollar yen, it will enter into a pseudo consolidation box this week. Meaning, I still believe that this should move higher, but in a very dollar yen manner. That it means very gradually, very slow. It goes steady with not a lot of volatility. That is what I believe that will happen from now on in dollar yen. And it makes sense. Since I was tracking bullishly the dollar yen, that remember that in the webinar I commented after it touched the 112, at the 100 pip to the upside, etc., we were tracking that. We were tracking that 300 pip bullishly, the dollar yen. Of course, after some point, this spree is over, but the flow and the trend is set. So that is what I believe. So some sort of, I don't know, maybe either we could have a quick move here up to this time, first here, maybe even continuing here, and then maybe speeding up here, here, and here. That is more or less what I believe. Let me use some. That is what I believe that will happen. That it will move here, making a coincidence with this. Then we'll stabilize here. By the end of the week, more or less. That is what I believe. Of course, we have several different kind of combinations. For example, why that doesn't want to be erased. So, well, I don't know what happened. So the other one could be, well, here, I don't know, here says no image. I don't know why. And the other movement could be, let's say, make a jump here, maybe a quick jump here, then maybe stabilize here, then maybe this, and maybe close the week by here. That's another combination that I like for this week. But as you can see, no matter what combination is, it tends to enjail the dollar yen move in this range. But it's a very good one, because if this happens and if you manage to, let's say, you know what, just forget about this. I will put a limit order at 113.50 and take profit at 115. If actually that happens, it's 150 pips. It's a lot. But these are more or less a combination, these both ones. And it's between this range this week. I believe that this is necessary. I believe that this week decision by the Fed won't have any major consequence unless we have a surprise that we won't have any rate hike. That would be a disaster. But of course, I mean, we just got to a point that it's inevitable to do it. I mean, it would be a mistake not to do it. That's it. So now you can, the more time it passes after, for example, I put this, welcome back, Katarina. I just read that you were back. Here, when you have three boxes, the action, and when you have them in a length like this, you really have not a lot of scenarios, because the scenarios happen, the more steps you have, here you have 4, different lengths and in different positions. So that is why I believe that this combination more or less should look like. Example, I don't believe that either the 115.50 will be broken convincingly to the upside, but that could happen, because let's remember, I am biased fundamentally bullishly. So if I'm going to be wrong here, the most likely thing is that this should, if I'm going to be wrong that a level won't be broken, the most likely is that this one is the one not won't be able to be broken, because here we have more chances to go higher because of the trend. But if you look closely, you see that this box is slightly thicker than this. Why? I believe this is my graphic way to tell people. I believe that we just got to a point that it will get very difficult, at least this week, to continue moving higher. I believe that it's the price will tend to move much more between maybe these three lines than above this line. Okay. So this is more or less the usage of these price boxes. This is a very intuitive tool for me. This is not something that I have learned elsewhere. It's just something that it has been making sense to me. And don't think that this is a tool that I have used all my life. This is actually a recent inspiration that I have. At some point, I tried and made some essays with that, and they have worked for me. Okay, maybe these kind of new elements are the ones that are like causing a little bit of conflict in my traditional way of trading, and maybe that is why this week I lost some money because of this new element. We need to be aware that every time that we have a new element in our trading strategy, etc., the first logical thing is that it will cause a misadjustment stage where you could see some losses. And this is precisely why I felt bad last week, because I should have put more attention on that fact that if I am adding this new element, I should be play it with more caution. But I didn't do it. But well, this is how we learn, right? And trading is a thing that you will always be learning. And I assume that we won't have a webinar next, right, Katerina? Sorry about that. I just drank a apple juice. Okay, I will show you the trades that I opened. Okay, this is the dollar. And I don't know why I cannot launch this screen sharing stuff. Yes, David, and it with a lot of ice. So yeah, it was refreshing. Let me try to show you this Canadian Canadian stuff, because I really wanted to. Let me try to launch again the screen sharing. It doesn't want to download. Okay, wait a second. Okay, I really have no idea Okay, I will, don't go, I will reload this so to be able to launch a screen. One, two, three, one, two, three. Okay, just for recreational purposes, these are the trades that I opened for okay. Okay, here they are. I want to share them with you. Here they are. When I have a bad day or a bad week, I try to start the Monday or Tuesday, the day I want to start trading again. I try to challenge myself and to avoid being fearful and avoid not getting into the market and just do the contrary, the complete opposite. Trying to enter the more times I can to feel confidence back that I can do it again and again. After losing, the most likely thing is that you will have fear to get in the swimming pool again. But what I push myself to do is to dive one, to go outside the swimming pool, to dive another time, and in cold water. So yeah, at the time when I realized that my skills are still there, I just forgot about the fear, I just forgot about the losing week, etc., and I can just focus on the future, not on the past. These are my trades in that I just opened during the last hours. This dollar Canadian, I opened a long trade here because I was reading this. It was in an accumulative zone to the upside. It made a pullback. It retraced. It made a pullback retesting this, but I still was feeling that accumulative to the upside thing. It moved higher here. Here in the 1 hour chart, there was a double bottom top here. So it retraced widely. Okay. It retraced again, but here my intuition of the market was that it changed, that actually this accumulative stage was over and the market was willing to try to track to the downside again. Okay, so I short here, I quickly take 1-2 pip here, then I short here again, and I held during this pullback because I was here, what I was expecting is an accumulative wave to the downside, so these kind of pullbacks are normal in those kind of stages. So yeah, it made this. In my live account, I opened here, and not here exactly, it was like in here. Another short trade, it was retesting the stop. That at that moment, this stop was again a rectangle upper line something. And then boom, look where I took profit. Here it is. This was just before the webinar. Before the webinar or before, well, I don't know, but the thing is that just look what it did after. Why here, while it was lower then here, and here, and here. This was 1, 2, 3 lower lows. And even though the accumulative stage to a potential bigger movement to the downside was confirmed by this pullback and then this sell-off, by here, I was feeling that maybe the wave was over, that we should enter maybe into a buying spree. Unfortunately, I didn't open a trade there because I was not going to be able to be looking at it, watching it. But well, it just moved from here, and the chances that here I was going to revert the trade. I didn't do it, but if I had, it would have been like 20, 25 pips. In any case, I have moved here. No, it was even more. Yes, it was 20 pips. So yeah, now we are at the very stage here, close to here. So yeah, dollar CAD, what it's doing is trying to find, trying to move the forces and the pieces of the puzzle so a space is open to some direction. But as you can see, just at the moment the bears were more confident here, suddenly everything, the price patterns, the volumes, the kind of the way the price moves, and you need to. This is what I do. I'm not only watching candles. I am also watching, for example, how fast they move up or down. If they do this, if they get slow, or if they start upticking quickly, and that I try to give it a meaning, a subjective one. I don't have an objective way to do that. And it's the consequence of years. So don't think you're going to do it right just because you want to. It takes time. But yeah, I believe that this kind of things is when I really, because here is when you get greedy and you say this will continue to the downside to the 134. But when you are able to detect this, it's when you say, okay, my skills are there. If you lose and you're not still in the profitable zone, but in the break-even zone, try to find this reset methods. Meaning, even if you're in a break-even stage, you are doing things right already. Some things, every person is different. I don't know, maybe measuring the entries or exits or stop losses, whatever you know that you do right, that you are doing right, okay. And every time you need, when you start feeling doubts after having a bad week, try to push yourself to see that in your trading. Like me, for example, I decided to know what. I'm going to, even if this doesn't really count for the trader contest account, but I will try to grasp some quick pips in dollar Canadian in the previous the European session. I mean, dollar Canadian is not precisely the most active pair until American time. So I pushed myself to say, you know what, I'm going to do that in one of the toughest pairs to trade right now. I mean, toughest is relative, but at least maybe one of the least, I don't know, attractive to trade at that hour. And when you can do that, can you do this? For example, here, I had a pullback. My stop loss was like in here. I was anticipating that this could happen and it could retest here. Then when it retests here and stabilizes here, I just decided to get outside here. Seeing this and then this is, yes, I know what I am doing. When you're in a break-even trader, maybe this break-even stage, maybe these are not the kind of things that you are doing right. But it's necessary that I start identifying them objectively. So when you need to come and look back to those successes and advances that you've done in your trading career, to find them as to self-assure yourself after a failing week or a lot of failing trades, try to see what you do right and to put yourself in the circumstances to repeat it. So when you see it, you see, okay, it was a bad week, but I know I do this consistently right. Psychologically, it's important. Of course, the ones that are not there, but in the beginnings, is way tougher because unfortunately, when we're starting, we don't have that. But the thing is that you don't stop trying until you find a way to get into that break-even thing, and then this is like the self-reward you give to yourself that will keep you trying. You need to find this as to legitimize what you're doing. And the only way to legitimize all the effort, time, losses, etc., is that at least you can look back and objectively say, I know I can make this 90% of the times correct. And that helps your self-esteem. So, now, it's time to go. I would like to thank everybody for showing up for this very strange webinar. I believe that I talked on different topics. I would like to thank all the guests for being around. David, of course, thanks for dropping by. I know that it's earlier than me, but we both are like vampires. And of course, Katerina for hosting, recording, and everything. Rocas, I just saw that he left. I'm really not sure when. But well, thanks for being around anyways. Or at least most part of the webinar. And nothing to be thankful for, Katerina. It's a pleasure for me to come and broadcast for Dukascopy. And David, thanks for your time too. So remember that I expect you tomorrow at the same time, same place. Alberto Alvarado. Remember to trade safe, be safe, and bye-bye.